going to see in a minute. I just don't want to give it to you. I want you to graph it on your own. And before we graph it, I want to fill in the table of values. So we can take our table and graph the points here. Okay, so please make sure if you're in degree mode, you're going to start plugging in the degrees that are on the top. If you're in radian mode, you're going to start graphing all these. You're going to plug in the pies. So go to your calculation screen for me so I can show you how to fill in this table. Go to your calculation screen. First up, I want to know what the sine of 0 is. So everyone goes sine 0 in your calculation. And I'm just going to start going around. I don't need numbers. It's going to take too long to do numbers here. So Henry, start us off. Sine of 0 is 0. So everyone 0. Please fill in the table with me, and then we will graph it together. If you need to round, please round to the nearest hundredth at any time. Okay. If it requires rounding, please round to the nearest hundredth. So sine of 30, pi over 6. Sophie, you're up.
0.01.
Sure about that? What mode are we in?
Degree.
And you did sine of 30?
Oh, I did power.
Well, that's radians. You got to be in radian mode to do that.
1/2.
1/2, yep. So everyone 1/2. Okay, let's keep going. Sine of 60. Meredith, when you have that, I think this one requires rounding, so nearest hundredth.
0.87.
Yep, 0.87 is good enough for me. I know it gave you a fraction, but that's going to be tough to graph. So that's why I want a decimal here. All right, pi over 2, 90. Chris, when you have it.
1.
1. Sine of 90 is 1. Yep, again, we're just filling in the table. Then we're going to see what the graph looks like. Sine of 120. Here we go, Gia. Which is what as a decimal? I don't know how to graph that. I know how to graph the decimals, though. So what's it giving you as a decimal?
0.8.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at 0.87 again, huh? 0.87 again. Juliana, when you're ready, sine of 150. 0.5, 1/2. Oh, look at, okay. Oh, got a little repetition here, huh, kids? A little repetition. Grayson, sine of 180. 0. Good work. Yep, Gabriella, when you're ready, sine of 210. Ooh, negative now, huh? Wonder why it changed to negative. Oh, yeah, I know why. We know why. Hey, where's 210, kids? What quadrant? Third. What did we learn all last unit about sine in the third? Oh, shocker. And then all those were positive because we were in the first and the second. Look at that. All right, sine 240. Brady? Negative 0.87. We got a lot of repeaters here, huh? Sine of 270. Julia, when you're ready. Negative 1. Yep. Samir, sine of 300. 0.87. There we go. All right. This half of the room is good. Cam, 330. Sine of 330.
Negative 0.5.
Yep. Negative 1/2. And then Candace, finish it. 0. There we go. A lot of repeaters, huh, kids? A lot of repeaters. All right. Let's graph it together now. So, first thing I got to tell you, when we graph sine and cosine later, look at my x-axis. It is not what you're familiar with, is it? With it goes 1, 2, 3. If you're not familiar with that, we graph in radians. Okay, so all the x-axis is always in radians. So at 0, it was 0. So I plug a point there. And every tick mark now will be pi over 6, pi over 3, pi over 2. So we can keep going. So next tick mark is pi over 6. That's going to go up to 1/2. Right? Pi over 6, 1/2. Keep going. Be in the ballpark for the next one. Pi over 3, 0.87. So graph 0.87, kind of be in the ballpark, a little bit below 1, right? Be in the ballpark. And then at pi over 2, the next tick mark, we're at 1. And I would like you to label that tick mark pi over 2 for me. There's a reason. Label this one pi over 2. I don't need to label the others. Just label that one, pi over 2. All right, let's keep going. What's next? 2 pi over 3, 0.87. All right, make it at the same level as the other 0.87. If you guys want to get ahead of me, feel free. Next one's going to be 1/2. And then pi, we're back at 0. Next one, negative 1/2. So make sure we're going down to negative 1/2. Pi, 4 pi over 3, negative 0.87. (270) negative 1. Guys, good. 5 pi over 3, negative. And then we come back up to negative 1/2. And 2 pi, we're at 0. Only other thing I forgot, can you label, let's see, how many tick, 1, 2, 3, let's see, 7 pi over 6, 3 tick marks after pi. Okay, bless you. Can you label that as 3 pi over 2 for me? 3 pi over 2. Look at this bad boy, huh? All right, before we connect the dots, I just want to make sure I repeat this. We are graphing a sine curve, not a sine heart monitor here before you connect the dots, okay? A sine curve. So take your pen, pencil, make it a smooth curve at the top and at the bottom here. And I want to introduce everyone to the sine curve. This is what sine looks like when you graph it. We are not ready to go on. I want to stay right here on the sine curve. All right. Why did I just graph that? Why didn't we go further? Why didn't I graph in the negatives? Here's why. Sine is repetitive. If I had you, and don't do this, please. If I had you guys graph further along here, more points, you know what's going to happen? It's going to repeat itself. What you're looking at on your graph is one full sine curve. Anything more, it's going to repeat itself. What do you think is going to happen over here? It's going to repeat itself. Again, don't do this. Take a look at mine. That's what it would look like on that side. A little bit better than that, though. Okay, so sine is repetitive. But what you have on your paper right now, that's one full sine curve. And this is the last time I'm going to have to graph all these points. Last time. Why? Here's what you're going to write down for me. Where's sine start? Tell me where we started.
0.
That's 0. We're going to call that the midline, where it starts. It starts at the midline, which is 0 for us. Then where did it go? It went up to, anybody know what you call that one from your Algebra 1 days? The highest point on the graph begins with an M, ends in aximum. Maximum, right? Yes, maximum. So it starts at 0, then goes up to the max. Goes up to the max, which is positive 1 for us. Where'd it go back down to? After the max, where'd it go? Look at the graph, where did it go? I know people are going to probably say minimum, but before it went to the minimum, where did it go back to? It went back to the midline, 0, yep. So back to the midline. Zero. Then where? Now you could say what? It went back to the midline, then went where? Down to? What's that point down below here? Minimum, which is? What's our minimum? Negative 1. Down to the minimum, which is negative 1. And then where do we finish? Where does it finish?
Midline.
At the midline, 0, yep. If you can remember where sine starts, where it goes, you're going to be golden. Because we are not graphing all these extra points anymore. We're going to graph these. Take a peek. We're going to graph these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points only. Those are the only ones we're going to graph. Okay, only ones we're going to graph. Questions on your sine curve? Where it goes, there you're going to get more and more fed more and more of these. All good. Anything you want. I know it's the first one you've seen here, and I'm already going to mess with it. All right, here we go. Now it gets crazy. Graph sine, but what did I put with it now? What's different than the last one we did? What did I just put with that equation? Graphs, not just sine, but what with it? What's with it now? What's with that equation? Come on, what's with that equation?
X.
A number. Yeah, a number's with it. We just graphed y equals sine x. That was the graph before. Now what's with it? What's in front of it? A 4. Okay, ready for this? It's going to be the same curve, except now it's not going to go to 1, it's going to go to 4. It's not going to go down to -1, it's going to go down to -4. That is the change. When there is a number out in front, circle that number, please. 4. That is referred to, we're going to have a new vocab word here. You guys not have this? Sorry, it's on the front. Yes, I'm sorry. It's on the first page. It got cut off. So please go back to the first page down below where it says y equals 4 sine x. That 4 out in front is called amplitude. New vocab word. Amplitude. And that is the new max and minimum. I'm just going to abbreviate it max and min instead of spelling out maximum and minimum. That will tell you how high and how low this graph. Everything else stays the same. Okay? Except for the new maxes and mins will be 4. All right, here we go. Whew. I don't need to graph all the points in between. All right, start us off. Gia, where does sine always start? At 0, midline. Let's start saying, I just like to say midline because it won't be 0 in a couple days. We're actually going to start somewhere else. But for now, yes, starts at the midline. So everyone just graph 0. There you go. There's the first point. Then it goes where? Where does sine, and this is the process I need your mind to go. Starts at the midline, then where does sine go after the midline? Goes to Julia. What's that? The maximum, which we just said, not 1 anymore, but 4 because there's a number out. Now, where do I graph 4? At pi over 2. The max is always at pi over 2. So I go up to pi over 2, and now instead of 1, you graph 4 because that's my new max. All good. That's the only thing that's going to change are your max and mins now. So it starts at the midline, goes to the max. Then where? Keep looking back at the little cheat sheet I gave you there. Sophie, midline, max, back to the midline, which for us is 0. So at pi, it's back at 0. It's always going to be at these values, 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. So I'm at the midline. Then where does it go? After that midline, it goes to, Julia, back to you. Minimum, not -1, because I had a 4 in front. So now the minimum is -4. See how the number in front, that what affects it. And then where does every sine curve end? Sine curve ends, Candace? Midline, back at 0. For now, the midline will always be 0 until a couple days I change that. All right, that's all I need. Pen, pencil, smooth curve. Anything more, it's going to start repeating again. That is the sine curve for a 4 out in front, 4 sine x. Questions before we start answering parts A through E here. Whew. All right, let's go. Part A. Give me the x values in radians. Let's start here. A max at, where's the maximum at? Give me the x values, not the y value. I don't want 4 here. Where is it at 4? Where on the x-axis is it at 4? Where do you have that max value? Kaylee? At pi over 2. Good. It does not hit a max again. So we got a max at pi over 2. A minimum at Juliana, where's the minimum? At 3 pi over 2. And then middle values, midline. So midline at, we should have a couple places here, right? We should have a couple places where we had a midline. Name the places where we had the midline. Sophie.
0.
0, sorry.
Oh.
Pi and?
2 pi.
Awesome. Welcome to the sine curve. That will be the same every time. Your max will be at pi over 2, the minimum will be at 3 pi over 2, and the midlines will be there. Anything before I get to a new vocab word? Period of a graph. Ready? Period of a graph. How long on the x-axis it takes before it starts repeating again? How many units on the x-axis will it take before it starts repeating? And remember what I told you? At 2 pi, what's going to happen again? It's going to start repeating. So our answer for this question until maybe next week, what's the period of any graph we do? It's always going to go to 2 pi before it starts repeating. That's what period is. How many units on the x-axis before this bad boy starts repeating? And it's going to start repeating at 2 pi. All right, and for now, that's my answer, 2 pi. A couple days from now, I'm going to change the game. Oh, something you guys are familiar with. Range. Range. What letter comes to mind? Range. R. Okay, domain and range. Yes, one was associated with X, one was associated with Y last year. Which one was range associated with? The Y values, right? So you tell me, what are my Y values from what to what? Because it's not infinity. It's definitely not infinity here. For this graph, the Y values go from what to what, and then we'll put it in the correct notation. Gabriella, it goes from what to what on the Y-axis? How high does it go on the Y? -4 to 4. Awesome. Now, how do I write that in the correct notation? You guys remember using brackets? Yeah, brackets, because is -4 on this graph? Yeah, so that's why I'm including it with brackets. -4, comma, where's it go up to, Gabriella? It is 4 on this graph. Yes, so that's why both of them get brackets.
Does the lower one have to be first?
Yes, it does. It has to be first. You always go lowest to highest. And over what interval is it increasing? Going up, increasing. Look at your graph, everyone. If I gave you my pen right now to come up to the board, could you circle a spot on the graph where it's increasing? Could you circle a spot on the graph? Yeah, most of you would come up first, and you don't need to do this on your graph. You'd probably do that right there, because that's where it's increasing. All right, now how do I write that? First is you want your x values when it's increasing. X's, not y's. X values. So where does it start? Where did it start increasing? At what?
0.
At 0, Henry, right? At 0. So I'm going to put a 0 there. I'm not going to put anything around it just yet. And then when did it stop increasing on the x-axis? 0 to? Where did it stop increasing, Miles? At pi over 2. Now, I didn't put anything around it for a reason. When it's at 0, it's not doing anything. Right? Everyone agree? It's not doing anything at 0, so it doesn't get a bracket. It's just going to get parentheses. And the same thing for pi over 2, because it's not increasing at pi over 2. It's just there. It's just there. Okay, so increasing, decreasing gets parentheses. Range gets brackets. Final question. Give me the line that splits this in half. Give me the line that splits the minimum and the maximum in half. There's the minimum. There's the maximum. Can you guys draw a line that splits them in half? Right here? And what's that line called? Anybody know the equation of that one? It's horizontal. Horizontal. No? Well, it's y equals. Y equals what? Where does it go through on the y-axis?
X. 0.
Y equals 0. There's your midline. We're moving on to the, yeah, we are. Okay, ready? Couple questions before we move on. Tyler, where does sine start?
Sine.
Any sine curve I ask you to graph, where does it always start?
Oh, the midline.
Midline, which is now just for us 0. That will change. So it starts at the midline. Where does it go after the midline? Miles, where does it go after the midline? Max. Yep. After the max, where does it go? Wes? Back to the midline, whatever it happens to be. After the midline, it goes to Meredith? Minimum. And then where does every sine curve finish? Cameron?
The minimum. I mean.
We're at the minimum. We want to finish it. Finishes at the
midline.
midline. You guys remember that? You're golden. All good? That's sine. I got to switch everything now for cosine. New set of rules for cosine. So we now know what a sine curve does and what it looks like. What's a cosine curve look like? And this will be it for today. Cosine. This is going to be this half of the room over here. Sierra, you're going to start. How about cosine is 0? You want to check that again? Cosine is 0. Cosine now, everyone, on your calculator.
1.
There we. Oh! Starts at 1, huh? All right. Next up, Tyler. Cosine pi over 6 or 30, whatever you're putting in. Round to the nearest hundredth.
0.87.
0.87. Nice. Let's keep going. Miles. 60. Buck hat 1 over 2. Good. Jesse, how about 90 when you're ready? 0. Yeah. Yep. Kaylee, how about 120? Ooh. Another repeater, huh? Cosine's a repeater. Brennan, how about 150? What are you typing in your calculator? Cosine of what?
Y equals cosine of pi.
Go to calculations. Calculation screen. We're not graphing this thing. Calculate. Are you in radian or degree mode?
Degree.
Degree. So type now in your calculation screen cosine 150.
Radical 3.
I want a decimal because I can't. I don't know how to graph radical 3 over 2. I can graph decimals though. 0.8.
0.8. 0.8. Negative 0.8. 87.
Thank you. All right. Whew, you good? Wes, 180. Negative 1. Good. Back over here now. Henry, 210.
Negative 0.87.
Good. Sophie, when you're ready, 240.
Negative 1/2.
Good. Meredith, when you're ready, 270.
0.
0. Good. Chris, 300. Buck over 1/2. Gia, 330. I'm sorry, 300. Sorry, my bad. No, we had 300. 330. I'm 330 when you're ready.
Positive 87.
87. Good work. And then Juliana, how about 360 to end it? 1. All right, here we go. Let's see what cosine does, because obviously just by the table, it's a little different than sine. First up, at 0, it is 1. Look where that starts, at 1 now. Cosine starts at 1, not 0 like sine. Then it goes to 0.87. 0.87. Be in the ballpark. Then it goes to 1/2. Make sure, yep, pi over 2. Let's label that pi over 2, the next one on your x-axis if you could. Pi over 2. It's 0. Negative 1/2. Negative 0.87. Negative 1. Back at pi, negative 1. Negative 0.87. Negative 1/2. If you can on the x-axis, label 3 pi over 2 for me. Coming back to 0. 1/2, 0.87, back at 1. Remember, this is a curve, not a U, not a V, I should say, not a V. It's a smooth curve. Yeah, cosine. Look at that. Look at that graph. That's the cosine curve. A little different than sine, right? Again, if I went past 2 pi, guess what's going to happen? If we graph past 2 pi, what's going to happen? It's going to repeat again. Give me another u. If I went to the other side, the negative side, it's going to give me another u. All right, that is one full cosine curve is what you're looking at. All right, I want to do the same thing I just did with sine with you guys. Where does it start? Where does it go? Where does it end? Right, because it's different than sine. It is different. All right, let's start here. Let's see if now you guys know the vocab. Julia, can you describe where it starts? Because it doesn't start at the midline. It starts where? Awesome. There you go. Starts at the max now. Every cosine curve will start at the max, no matter what it is. Then it goes where? So I start at the max, then it goes to, where's it going here? Sierra, where's it ready? It goes down to where? Awesome vocab. Goes to the midline. All right, we go through the midline to where then? After the midline goes to Grayson? Goes to the minimum, yep. Goes to the minimum. Back up to where for cosine? Gia? Back to the midline, good. And then where does this cosine curve finish now? Every cosine curve finishes where? Finishes at, where am I going? Kaylee? Max, good. All right, there it is. No, we are not doing tangent. That's it, sine and cosine. That's where we stop. That's what this whole unit is dedicated to. Different graphs of sine and cosine. Questions? All right, little different version now. This is that. Did this come at the bottom, or this made it to the next page? Okay. All right, everyone see the 1/2 out in front. It's the same thing as sine. What's that telling me? Instead of the min and max being 1, now the min and the max is 1/2. Okay, now the min and the max is 1/2. So let's graph it first. Graph it first. Cosine. Ready? Where does cosine start? Tell me where cosine starts. Samir, where does cosine start? Any cosine curve starts where? Nope, no, it does not. Starts at the maximum. Our max is not 1. It is now 1/2. Everyone see the difference? Starts at the max. That's how the number out in front affects the curve. Okay, after the max, where does a cosine curve go to? Chris? Midline, right? And for us, midline 0. I will change that soon, though. So at pi over 2, it's 0. Then where? Max, midline. You guys are just going to be animals by the time this unit's almost done. Brady, where's it go now? Minimum, negative 1/2, right? Negative 1/2. Then back to Candace, back to where? I'm at the minimum. Where's it go back to? Midline, 0. And then every cosine curve finishes. Henry?
1/2.
At the max, which us is 1/2. There it is. Mine is awful. Sorry. All right, next up, let's answer some of these questions here, and then I'm going to throw a real crazy one at you. Amplitude. Amplitude, that is the number out in front. The number out in front. Okay, the new max and the min there, the amplitude. What is that number out in front of the equation there, Tyler?
Oh, from
Amplitude is the number out in front of the equation that you just graphed. What's that? What's in front of the cosine? What is it?
Oh, one half. They're asking what it is.
Yeah, what's the amplitude?
Not
One
like
half.
the actual.
1/2. It's the number out in front. Period. How long will it take before it starts repeating again? For us, it's always going to be 2 pi. That will change, trust me. But for now, it's every graph will start repeating after 2 pi. All right, you guys can answer some of these now for me confidently. Gabriella, what's the maximum of this one? 1/2, good. And what's the minimum of this graph? Brady? Negative 1/2. I asked that because now I want you guys to write the range. Okay, what's the range for this curve? Range gets brackets always. Range gets brackets. What are you going to put in those brackets now for your y values, the range? Brady, back to you.
Negative 1/2.
2.
And 1/2.
Good. Okay, what interval is it decreasing? Decreasing. So if you look up here, and if I gave you the pen to come up here, and I said, where is it decreasing? I think all of you would circle here. That's where it's going down, right? Decreasing. And I want the x values. X values. So from what to what on the x-axis does this thing go down, decrease? What x values here? Tyler, from what to what? 0, comma, pi. And anytime you're increasing or decreasing, we always get parentheses because it's not increasing and decreasing at 0 or pi. Questions before I knock socks off here. This is going to be awesome. Again, I'm going to get real hyped here. All good? Okay. Oh, last one. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to do the sine curve. So if you got to look back, where does it start? Where does it go? Where does it end? We're doing the sine curve. What's the number out in front? Negative 2. All right, well, first, everyone, the 2, forget about the negative. What's the 2 telling us? Instead of going to 1 and negative 1, where's it going to go? 2 and negative 2. We learned that today. That's what the 2 is telling me. What is different about this? What did I put in here that we have not seen yet today? The negative, right? The negative. So how does the negative affect this? Ready? Any minimum becomes a maximum. Any maximum flips to become a minimum. That's what a negative does. It flips the mins and the maxes. So when I call on somebody and you say, oh, it goes to the max, it actually goes to the minimum. It flips. So that's what the negative does, everybody. It's still going to go to 2 and negative 2, except anywhere where we had maximums, now we have minimums. And vice versa. All right, so that's what the negative does. So let's do this. Where does every sine curve start? We're on the sine curve. Where does every sine curve start? Midline. The negative doesn't affect it. It's a midline. Then the negative affects mins and maxes. Still going to start there. Then where does a normal sine curve go after the midline? Starts at the midline. Then goes where? Where am I going? Sierra, where does it usually go? Usually goes to the max. But this negative, it says, it's actually going to be a minimum now. See the difference now? So now we're going to go down to negative 2. Then where does the sine curve go? Yes, minimum, max, but we had to flip it. Then where does it go? Where does the sine curve go from here? Brady? Which is not affected by the negative. It's just the min and the max. Usually at this point, where would the original sine curve go? At this point in our graphing, where would the original sine curve grow, Sophie? After this midline, it would go to where? But I got a negative. So you're going to say, no, it's not. It's going to go up to the max. And then where does every sine curve always end? Sophie, again? And that doesn't affect it. Midlines stay midlines. So does everybody see when you take a negative, it just flips it? just flips it. That's what happens. All right, questions? All right, let me see you do this on your own here. Let's go. Let me see you do these on your own. You can do it. You can do it. If anybody's going to be scared off by, hey, look at the very bottom one there. Everyone see where it says 7/2 sine? If you don't like 7/2, make it a decimal, 3.5. Okay, if you don't like 7/2, make it 3.5. Come on, you got this. Let's go.